kind of be on like that. I don't know that. Not, I wouldn't necessarily say it's fake, but like not that
Surface.
long, huh?
You like
Yeah, that surface,
surface
not that
type.
like
Yeah.
long withstanding, deep, ugly, pretty, beautiful,
Mm,
insane, reckless. That feeling that you have for someone else when you're in a relationship, but like that you have for yourself. So it's just crazy, what I'm saying, that you're saying that you're going inward, and I'm actually, every day going inward too. But the question that came to my mind is, why is it, so hard to love yourself? And I'll give you my answer after you give me your answer, because I have like
oh,
a
okay.
girl, I got a whole paragraph.
For me, it's societal kind of ideas and norms about what love is. It's religion, what religion teaches us that, you have to walk this line in order to receive that love from God. And since we're all, we're all little fragmented pieces of God, we feel like if we don't behave a certain way, or if we're not at a certain, level in life, that we're not worthy of love. And like any mistake, or anytime that you fall or you slip, that judgment that comes with that, if you have judgment in your family to say that you're not good enough, or that you should feel shame because you took this route, or you had this experience and it doesn't align with what I believe love is. I think that's why I have so many limitations and conditions when it comes to love. It's mainly because of what was put onto me. And as you kind of you grow up and you start to try to figure out or remember who you are, and this version of who you are doesn't align or agree with like what people tell you it should look like, or what people tell you, how you should behave or who you should be, it kind of makes you feel like, you're not worthy of it. That's pretty much like how I was raised, and just that judgment and that lack of compassion and empathy that I didn't receive when I felt like I did fall short of something. And so
Okay.
I feel like I have to be a certain way, look a certain way, behave a certain way, have certain things, be at a certain place in my life in order to be worthy of love. And also like going outside of myself to get it. I don't think that I was taught to really go inward or pour into myself to get that love, to find that love.
Okay.
So, mhm.
That definitely makes sense. So we are pretty much like aligned to the greater extent of what you believe, why it's so hard, to love yourself. So as I was reading a few articles, um I came across this saying, and I almost believe it. Well, I do believe it to be true, especially just coming from my science background. But one thing that I just kept reading and kept standing out is that the brain is hardwired to automatically go to negativity. So when me and you used to say, the brain is lazy, right? Like
Mhm.
it goes to familiar patterns, familiar experiences, just to familiarity, right? To me, that kept like sticking out because I was like, it's not just familiarity; it's actually like we are hardwired out of the womb. Like our brains, human brains, are hardwired out of the womb to automatically go to negativity. Now, how that benefited us before, the age of technology, books, just kind of being as evolved humans as we are today. So the way that helped us like back in the day is if we were out gathering, right, or out hunting something, and we actually saw like I don't know, a bear, right, or something that was bigger, than ourselves, right. um our brain would associate that negative experience to harm, right? So we would not try to like take on and kill the bear, right? Knowing that there is a chance, you know, that we would die. So from that standpoint, it makes sense for me that like from an evolution perspective, why the brain is hardwired, you know, to automatically go to negativity for self-preservation. So I get it, right? I completely understand and I kind of identify with that. But now, you know, because we are, you know, evolved and we have books and you know, the Google, um, it's the picking oneself apart or the self judgment, right? Um, that we either intentionally do or unintentionally do, that reinforces uh pretty much what you were saying, like why you can't love yourself, you know? So it's not necessary. Well, it's two part, right? It's you're already hardwired to go to the negative. And then when you go to the negative, you're picking yourself apart, saying, well, no, I'm not up to societal norms, or I'm not where I'm actually wanting to be just because I set a goal for myself. And then you add to it, right, your I wouldn't necessarily say all familial situations are toxic, but say you add to it like a toxic familial situation that reinforces toxicity, or you're just in an absentee type of familial situation. So, like an absentee mother, like, yeah, she's physically there, but like emotionally, she's not there. She doesn't really pour into you. Or, you know, your father, vice versa. So you haven't really had a chance to develop that kind of armor against that negative self speak or negative self thinking that's already from an evolution standpoint ingrained in your DNA. So when I was reading, that's kind of what like stuck out to me. It was like, oh, okay, so yeah, we're already like hardwired this way. Now bringing it, you know, into myself, um, I feel like it's always been hard for me to like love myself because I never like was like taught to just stand and look at myself in the mirror and not necessarily pick myself apart, but like put myself together. You know, like I love my eyes, I love my nose, I love my hair, I love, you know, this about myself, and it wasn't reinforced. Like, yeah, you know, when you're small, people tell you that you're beautiful or like they love the shape of your eyes, but it's always like single, like laser focused on like one thing, you know, like, you know, I admire you because, you know, you strong, or like I admire you because, you know, you're resilient. Not, you know, well, I admire you because you're resilient. Your eyes are, you know, amazing. You have a beautiful mind, and the list goes on. It's always kind of like a singular kind of adoration when it comes to love. And it's not always, I don't know, depth, you know, like it's sometimes it's very, very, you know, shallow. Like I love you because of your skin tone, or, you know, like it's never really, like I said, just it, to me, it wasn't always like deep down, pour into me, fill these, you know, holes in this holy shirt kind of love speak. So how could I speak it to myself? So that was my answer.
That's interesting. I want to talk about the hardwire to automatically go to negativity
Mm-hmm.
comment. I don't necessarily believe that because I believe that we're hardwired to automatically go to positivity and love, but we're taught fear at a young age. So like if a baby saw, a flame, they wouldn't think twice. They just think, "Oh, look at that flame," and they would go to touch it. You know what I mean? And then when they get burnt or their mom, smack their hand and say, "Don't do that." Or if they did see a crocodile and they run towards it to hug it because they saw a friendly crocodile on TV, and then their parents pull them back by their shirt and say, "No, don't do that." I think that we're taught to automatically go to negativity at a young age, and it's
But that's
not.
but that's before. So that's before. Like you're talking like, you know, when I say present, like present meaning recently. I'm talking like way, way back before we became evolved human beings. So whether or not you believe in the theory of evolution or not, I'm talking about like when we were like out in the forest hunting and gathering type, like I believe that, or I kind of identify with what they're saying because like the whole it going to it, and I think too, like we get kind of lost in the negative versus the positive, right? Like the brain automatically going to negative was self-preservation, right? It was for, specifically hardwired into us so we would not go into situations that would cause us harm.
I mean, I understand that, but I feel like we haven't really evolved in the last, I don't know, thousands of years because they're still trying to figure out how they built the pyramids without technology and stuff like that. So are you talking about like that time or even before that?
I'm talking about
Because
I'm talking about even before that. I'm talking about like in the human DNA, right?
I disagree with that. I think it's taught. I don't think we're hardwired. I don't
Uh,
believe
I
that.
I don't know. I mean, because I believe that like the brain expresses different hormones and different substances that also impact the way that we love ourselves and also our ability or inability to experience love. And
Right,
the
based
reason
on,
why, oh, go ahead.
no, go finish your thought.
And the reason why I say that is because, like, if you look at, aside from, spiritual journey, right? If you look at just modern day, like, addiction specialists, right? Or just the science of addiction, they liken love, romantic love, to addiction because of the chemicals that are released, when you actually like are in love or are falling in love with someone, and the
Hmm.
oxytocin and everything, like all of those feel good chemicals that are released in the body. Henceforth, the reason why when you break up with somebody and that you're in love with them, they also like in that period of like the breakup, like that immediate breakup to where you're not in contact with this person, to actual like physical withdrawal, which can also be chemical or drug dependent withdrawal. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, i'm not
But I,
saying that I'm not saying like that oh my god, like you gotta believe it. I'm just saying that I feel like there is a little bit of truth into saying that the brain is hardwired. It's some chemicals in our brain are hardwired into our DNA to, automatically go to the negative. Even if you sit and you think about like what you tell yourself in your private thoughts about yourself, right? Like when you're going through your emotions and you're like trying to breathe through your emotions, there's always, to me, what comes up first is that question of doubt or that question of fear or that question of it's not always love. It's I have to talk myself and be, the observer of my thoughts to question, that emotion, like where is this coming from?
mhm.
So, I'm not saying like I said, I'm not saying like, oh my God, like, as a baby, you're just hardwired, everybody's hardwired to, go immediately to the left. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we have this innate, um, kind of makeup in our DNA that back in the day, back in the day, before we were evolved into like walking human beings, if you want to, like I said, if you want to believe in the Big Bang, whatever you want to believe in, like yeah, that was put in our brain to protect us. And the things that have been, I mean, as we're learning, now, some of the things that are put in our body that We think, or oh my god, they're good to protect us. It is good, but everything in moderation, right? Like, you think that our immune system is there to protect us, but on the flip side,